Fool me once and it's shame on me, but you know you better tread carefully. Fool me twice, I'm your enemy. I'm your enemy. If you push, I push back. Try to hide, but I'll hunt you down like a maniac. Down, you'll go down. So if you hide, I'm gonna hunt you down. You better run, vendetta. You better vendetta. You better run, vendetta. You better vendetta. Kindness never looked good on me. Never been one to sit quietly. Too late now to see irony in rivalry. Push, I push back. Try to hide, but I'm gonna hunt you down. You better run, vendetta. You better vendetta. You better run, vendetta. You better vendetta. You better run, you better run, you better run. Run, you better run, you better run, you better run. Run, you better run, you better run, you better run. Run, you better run, you better run, you fool me once and it's shame on me, but you know you better tread carefully.
Wake up first thing, always trying to get ahead. No more dreaming, fragments of it in my head. Addiction is compulsory, agreeing just to disagree. Pull ourselves apart into debris. 'Cause algorithms haunt me, air your dirty laundry, hang it all on me. Getting sick of scrolling down, 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 down. Messed up, give me your confession. Never learn our lessons. Getting sick of scrolling down, 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 down. artificial life you create. Fight to stay relevant, disregard our negligence, it's evident, it's prevalent. We've halted our development, doomed to repeat this cycle. Cause algorithms haunt me, air your dirty laundry, hang it all on me. Getting sick of scrolling down, 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 down. Exhausted, think I finally lost it. Drew the line and crossed it. Getting sick of scrolling down, 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 down. We're gonna keep falling down, 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 down. The wheel will go on spinning round, 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 round. Never escape scrolling down, 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 down. This cycle keeps on going round, 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 round.
Okay. Where do I want to start? I might start with this one because it's the most recent. So before I start, I want to just say, as always, do not harass, attack, insult anyone mentioned in this stream. This is a stream for educational purposes to debunk misinformation about DID, correcting misinformation. There will be a pinned comment once this goes up on YouTube with the links to all of the videos, as well as the link to a Google Doc with sources. We are not professionals. Do your own research. Don't just watch this. I think that's everything out of the way.
The evil side, like what if that is true? What if one day I wake up and my hands are covered in blood and I don't know what I've done?
Okay. It is very, very unlikely. It's actually very rare that someone with DID will be violent. It's a common horror trope to have a alter that is a murderer. People with DID go through severe prolonged trauma in childhood, and many end up going through more trauma throughout their life, because most people who are abused tend to go back to being abused rather than abusing others, because they know how it feels to be abused and they do not want to perpetuate that and push it onto others.
Hi, my name is Bo and I suffer from dissociative identity disorder.
How many personalities do you have?
Up to about 10 roughly that come out more often, but there are in total about between 25 and 30. We're not 100.
just wanted to check that.
100% sure, because sometimes they can only come out for like a minute or just a brief moment, you know, so it's hard to track all of the little parts as well. But there are about 10 main people that come forward.
And what makes them come out?
Usually it's triggers, more often negative triggers, so being reminded of a traumatic experience. It could just be something that reminds you of a time, music or smells. Could take you back to a certain time that was traumatizing. Sometimes you can get positive triggers, so it could be like a positive smell that takes you back or associated with a certain part. But yeah, triggers is the main cause.
When did you first realise that this was a thing?
Probably when I was like 15, 16. All of my friends in school started telling me that I would do these things and say these things and call them names and all sorts that like never, from my perspective, never happened. It started to get to the point where it was like multiple friends telling me. That's when I started to realise like, oh, maybe it's not just like memory loss, maybe something is actually happening.
Do you think maybe you were going crazy at first? Or?
Yeah, 100%. I grew up on like Jekyll and Hyde and that sort of thing.
I'm trying to think what would be safe for us to share. I think we've shared it before that we should have known a lot sooner than we did. And it was when we were 15 that we should have really known. Not because people told us things, but because when I was Val, it had been after something not consensual that I was triggered out for, because that was my role. When I was Val, I was the main sexual protector and also a persecutor. And I had fronted and introduced myself. And I was co-fronting with maybe the host at the time. That memory was later taken from them, and they didn't remember until years later.
So you hear a lot about the evil split personality with a good side and a bad side, and I was terrified that that was me, that I was this good side that never wanted to hurt anybody and would never hurt a fly, and then there was this evil side to me that would hurt my friends and try to hurt me and say all these evil things. You know, I had it in my head that like I could hurt somebody, that especially with Jekyll and Hyde, like he's portrayed as a murderer. You know, so I was always afraid that I would hurt somebody and not have any recollection of it. Just this good and evil side, not realizing how like multi-dimensional the disorder actually is.
Tell me about this evil side. What kind of thoughts do you have?
She's been around the longest. She's very aggressive. I think it's a protective measure. But yeah, she would burn me. She would always try and hurt me. She would call my friends horrible names, try to hurt them, try to physically hurt them. For a long time, all my friends thought it was me, just being weird, I guess. And it wasn't until one of my friends actually said, "You're not Beau, are you?" And that's when people started to realize that there was actually something else going on. For a couple of years, I thought I was possessed, that I had like a demon in me, or I was possessed by a ghost, or just all of these sorts of crazy things that you get told, like from media. That, yeah.
This is one of the reasons that it is so important for media to have accurate portrayals of DID instead of just horror tropes and misinformation.
You're crazy and you're gonna hurt someone. When like that's my worst nightmare.
You say she, does she have a name?
She's called Texas. Don't know where the name came from. That's the thing with a lot of it with DID is it just kind of happens to you. You don't really get to choose. She has high delusions, I know that. She believes that she's from a different time period. She believes that her family are long dead. She doesn't like my family. She's got all these strong beliefs that could be quite like damaging, I guess. But she's been around the longest. Met all my friends, they all knew it was her. They would call her by her name. It's scary when it happens to you. I get blackout amnesia, which isn't as common with DID, where I feel like I fall asleep. I literally don't remember a thing. It does feel like a possession in a way. This thing just happens to you and you...
I do like how she talks about how blackout amnesia isn't the most common with DID. We have blackout amnesia for alters we don't have communication with. Subsystems are a big one where we have blackout amnesia, but most of our amnesia is more gray, where we will remember vague things that happened, or we will remember what happened, but it fades out.
Have no control and no say, and you don't find out until after.
Can we read Texas?
It's hard unless triggered. I think that's one thing that I think has been a little bit misconstrued online, is that they can be called upon like that. They're all parts.
For some systems, it's true that they don't have communication in order to ask other alters to front. But for systems with communication, it is very common, at least with us, to be able to communicate with each other and have switches that way. I know we've had switches on stream before. It's not something we do on purpose most of the time. If whoever is in front is very dissociated, then someone can step up and kind of take over to try and ground. That's very common with us.
Of me, technically. They're all fragments of my memory that my brain doesn't want me to remember. A lot of people view it as friends in your head, or like, it's really cool, but it's like a dissociative episode.
That is what it is. It is a dissociative disorder. It's not a personality disorder. And it's definitely not like having friends in your head. Some of us in the system are very close. We have couples in our system. I have alters in my system that I am very close to. But there are also alters who are constantly fighting. We have an alter named Mari, who is an internal conflict manager for us. I believe she's done a couple streams where she played the game that Ares really likes. But she's very, very busy. All of the time. Because some altars will just constantly fight.
You know, it's like a panic attack. You know, when people want that or try to egg it on, you're putting somebody into like a panic attack, essentially. When it happens to somebody, who's suffering with this, it should never be taken as this, wow, it's so fascinating. Because they're in distress. Their brain is in such distress that it felt it needed to escape in the only.
That, I would say, is partly true. I don't just front when we're distressed. Sometimes I front just because I want to. I am triggered out a lot by more intense things. Because I can deal with it. Our friends have said that if I front suddenly because I was triggered out, that someone really fucked up. And that is very true. But not all altars are constantly distressed. Our host is not constantly distressed. We have altars who have no trauma memories. Yes, it's a distressing disorder. Some systems might not like being asked questions. Personally, we do like being asked questions because it gives us the chance to speak our truth and sometimes it helps us even improve our own understanding of our system.
Way it knows how. Of course, people want to see it because it is interesting. I can't deny that. But yeah, it's hard to remember that it's a disorder.
So you said there are 10 main personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Take me through each one and their names and what they're like.
We have Texas. She's been around the longest. Very aggressive. She has an American accent. She doesn't like anybody, really. We have a child altar who is called Layla. She is forever 6 years old. She loves Easter. She's just pure innocence, you know. There's Toast. Again, no idea where the name comes from. Don't get a choice in that. He is a 12-year-old boy. He is very boisterous, very loud, very aggressive, but it's never meant to be threatening. He swears a lot and is very loud and jokey and aggressive, but in a playful way. We have a newer addition who popped up only in the last few years called H, who again is very aggressive. She has a very strong distaste towards men, I think again as a protective measure. It's Tracy, who is a 19-year-old girl and loves to drink, loves to party, is so social, like so much more social than I could ever be. She's like my confidence bottled up, you know. Off the top of my head, because like there's loads of names and some of them only popped out for a minute, or yeah, but those are the kind of the main few that pop up.
Do you enjoy being any of those other personalities?
I don't remember it, you know. Do you enjoy when you're asleep?
I would say that's not a well-phrased question. Because it's not you. When Echo fronts, it's not me. When I front, it's not Echo. Echo doesn't become me. I don't become Echo. We're completely different people.
You know?
You don't remember it or feel it at all?
No, not at all. When I'm switching, that moment between the parts, it is like, to me, falling asleep. I, for years, back as a teenager, thought I had some form of narcolepsy because that drifting and that fading is exactly the same. That, like, loss of consciousness. But, like, when you're actually asleep, you don't remember anything that happens, you know? Somebody draw on your face, you wouldn't remember.
What's the scariest thing that you discovered you did but you don't remember?
Texas used to try and jump a bridge. There was a footbridge that would go over a motorway in my hometown, and my friend lived the other side of it, and every time we would come up to this bridge, my friends would grab me by the arms. They would have me like this by the arms and holding on to me for dear life, and it took weeks of this happening for me to finally say, like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? They then would explain to me that as soon as we stepped onto that bridge, I would claw at them, hit them, run away from them as fast as I could and try and jump over the bridge. Like, literally climb over the banister and jump into traffic. And they'd pull me off every time. That it ended up on me on the floor, me with grazes because of how aggressively she tried to jump off a bridge. That, like, really put the fear in me. Ever since then, I've been, like, terrified of them because they could do that. Like, if my friends weren't there.
I can understand being fearful of actions that your alters can do. But just being straight up terrified of your alters is not going to be beneficial at all. Because that just reinforces the idea that they are something terrifying that should be feared. That's just going to encourage that behavior. If you don't understand why they are doing that, if you don't try to communicate with them, it's never going to improve.
She could have jumped and I wouldn't be here. It was that quick, that easy. She would burn me under hot taps, all sorts of stuff, just to hurt me, you know?
How has this affected you and your friendships, relationships, family?
Don't have a great relationship with my family. It's not the best. Certain people in my family were afraid that a diagnosis would, like, affect my future, when, like, really it should just be get the person help, you know? It's a curable disease with the right therapy.
No. No. That is... It's not curable. It's treatable. Final fusion is not a cure. You can still split after achieving final fusion if there is enough trauma or stress to cause a new split. That can still happen. Functional multiplicity is not a cure, it's just an end goal that some systems have. You can't cure DID. It's a childhood trauma disorder. People with DID grew up with DID. That's all they've ever known. You can't cure that. It affects the way that your brain works and how you respond to trauma. There's no cure for DID. There are treatment options, but there's no cure.
Therapy, so shouldn't be afraid of the diagnosis. I've had friends be afraid. I remember telling a friend once and her response was, well, what do they want? And I was like, I don't know. What kind of question is that? You know, like, I just explained that I'm suffering with something, and your first thing is fear of that they want something from you. And so, like, we weren't friends anymore, you know, like, I've lost a lot of friends from people who, like, don't understand it. I recently got out of a long-term relationship, but it didn't really affect my relationship then. My partner had a great relationship with a lot of them, was good at recognizing the differences. Yeah, it didn't really affect it too much.
But your partner would actually talk to the other personalities?
Yeah, like, yeah, was good friends with.
I would hope that partners and friends would talk to other alters instead of just ignoring them. We're still people. We still deserve respect. Just because we don't present in the typical way of someone without DID doesn't mean that we're any less real. Just because we have to share a body and a life doesn't mean that we should be ignored or treated any differently.
With a couple of them, would be somewhat of like a caregiver or a parental figure for the children, adapting well for the different parts, you know, like if it's a younger child, maybe playing a video game with them or whatever, you know, making sure that that part is okay, because there's a reason they're here, and usually it's distress.
If all your personalities disappeared tomorrow, would you be happy with being you, completely you?
They are very much a part of me, you know, like I said, it like started when I was like young, you know, teen years, so it's been over a decade, so it would be weird if it all just vanished, you know, but I think also it's that knowing who I was meant to be all along, in a way. Like, if I had Tracy's confidence in me, or even if I had Texas's rage, or anything, you know, it would still be what I was supposed to be, and at least then I wouldn't be, like, suffering. I do want to get better, but I think I'd be nervous about the change.
I do have an issue with how this is being presented. Not all systems are going to not be in distress, but there's more to the disorder than just constant suffering. I know Echo has said it before. And she said that I can share this. She's always said that if we did achieve final fusion, she wouldn't know who she is. She wouldn't know who she was. There would be so many changes and so many memories and so much trauma. And it would be too much, in our case, for just one altar to hold. It's why we're such a large system. We are a very large and complex system. But it's not constant suffering. Yes, we have to deal with flashbacks and PTSD symptoms, and the constant arguing from some altars and fights, but it's more than that. We can enjoy each other's company. We can work together. We can do productive things. We can just enjoy life. So it's not just suffering. And altars don't just front all the time because they're suffering. Juniper doesn't front because Star's suffering. Juniper is one of our littles who has no trauma at all. It's not just this constant suffering. And I don't like that that's being pushed.
You know, because it would be weird, them all just leaving. One of the biggest, like, symptoms that I experience as well is the chatter in the head. The head is never quiet. It's always just constant noise up there. You know, you're hearing voices, essentially.
What is that?
Most of the time you can't make it out. You know, it'll be just kind of like restaurant chatter. But then, like, occasionally you'll hear just, like, one sentence, one phrase, you know, like a warning. It'll be like, stay away, or go home, or something like that, you know, where somebody has an opinion that stands out a lot more. I would get that a lot with Texas when I was growing up, is she would tell me to stay away or to leave, or that, like, whoever I was talking to was untrustworthy, or they're gonna hurt me, or they're trying to warn you to protect you, you know. So I think that would probably be the weirdest part if it all just vanished, is just that the head would be so quiet all of a sudden. You know, I wouldn't be able to hear anything up there, you know, like all my thoughts would be mine rather than having like a million voices up there.
What's the hardest part about living with this?
Probably the memory loss for me. It's been a long time since any of them have tried to hurt me, but I still have that fear that they will. So the hardest part is actually just allowing it to happen. It's that not knowing, that uncertainty of just giving full trust to someone else who could do anything. They could cut my hair off, they could give me a tattoo, they could do anything, you know, and it's just trusting that either they won't, or that the people around you have enough sense to know to stop them.
So yeah, do you worry that something bad might happen one day?
Yeah, I think it's always in the back of my brain, you know. It was the main reason that we all started our channels at the beginning, was because there was this stigma that we would hurt somebody. And if you told somebody, I have this condition, I have multiple personality disorder, they would look at you and be afraid. We started this campaign that we aren't killers, we're more likely to harm ourselves, and we are not going to hurt you just because we're suffering, you know, but it'll always be there in the back of your brain, you know, especially with the Jekyll and Hyde, the evil side. Like, what if that is true? What if one day I wake up and my hands are covered in blood and I don't know what I've done because it's so blackout, you know, and the most they do is eat snacks and play video games, you know. Yeah, it will always be there.
This is something else that I have an issue with, honestly. Many people are not going to like what I'm about to say. And that is fine, you don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with me. When you have DID, it's not just your body or your life. Alters exist for a reason. They deserve to exist. It's their body and their life too. Even though they didn't ask to be here, they have just as much a right to exist as anyone else. That's why we use very neutral language when it comes to talking about for example, we say the body, not my body, the body, because it doesn't just belong to me. And not all systems are going to have that same mindset, and that is fine, whatever works for you. But I think it's important to remember that if you have DID, you're not the only one living your life. And they deserve to be here too. They deserve to front if they want to. Obviously, if they're doing something harmful, that needs to be addressed. But they have just as much a right to exist.
that fear.
And finally, what do you want people watching this to understand about you?
Yeah, that we're not dangerous. I guess that's always the message. That we're not dangerous, that we're not something to be afraid of, but also that we're not making it up. That's the thing that I've seen a lot of lately, is that anybody who seems to be struggling with symptoms of this, they immediately get fake claimed. They immediately get said that they're making it up and they're doing it for attention, when even if they don't have this disorder, they need help for whatever reason. It could be autism, it could be BPD, it could be anything, but they need help, and it shouldn't be treated with this aggression of they're fake, they deserve hate, they deserve to be bullied. It should be taken with this care, and if you think that will help you, we'll diagnose you, or we'll find what's wrong. At the end of the day, it is a trauma disorder, it comes from trauma, it comes from being abused, and to treat that then with more abuse, more bullying, doesn't make any sense to me. You know, I think we should all just treat each other with kindness.
I don't know how I feel about that video in general. But I think I said all that I wanted to say for that specifically. I think I'm going to do this one next.
So if you are a fan of Emil, Emily, Beast, and Jack, please come check us out again on, I think Friday night we'll be live. You don't go on and fake this on TikTok if you're not legit. They can see right through it, you know what I mean?
So this guy's saying he's got 4 personalities. A sensitive musician named Emil, the flirty chaos gremlin Emily,
Scoozy!
of course we got the stoic artsy dude named Jack, and of course we need the demon who roars in Walmart named the Beast.
What's up, guys? We're in the store right now. Let's see if Beastie will roar.
And this is all part of some diagnosis medical phenomenon mystery. He heavily implied at first having dissociative identity disorder, which doesn't always present like that. This
Okay, let me see. No sources. Again, this is an issue that I've had with this channel for a lot of videos. A lot. Okay, we're going to skip the sponsor. Going to jump around here a bit.
Before we talk about the sock exchange and the slumber party cult, let's talk about the cast of this drama tragedy. It sounds a little bit less like a support system and more like a deleted scene from Inside Out, but I digress. Emily, according to Emil, is like the sweet, bubbly spirit of the group. Also the one who happens to flirt on TikTok Live.
I'm Emily. How are y'all doing? I am the cuteness. I am the entertainment. I'm the one who can dance, ladies. I'm the female personality inside of him. Has been there his entire life. I'm Emily. Cute little me.
There also used to be something called Color of the Day, where Emily would show, the color of her underwear. After I tell my therapist that I'm experiencing this, she's gonna be like, oh, you know what's so funny is that I actually have a vacation scheduled for the rest of time. Some people journal. Other people's glittery female altar goes live. Next up, we've got Jack.
And then there's, of course, me, Jack. I'm the artist, I'm the quietness, I'm the focus.
You might find him sitting in front of his locker sketching sad wolves as he listens to Evanescence. He mostly just vibes and says cryptic things in the background, kind of like if eyeliner was a personality. And finally, there's the Beast, who communicates specifically through like guttural noises and growls on command.
There you go, Melissa. I guess Beast acknowledged you too, babe. So that is awesome. The Beast likes you too, Melissa.
It's giving midlife crisis meets Monster Energy drink. And of course we've got Emil, the main and the singer-songwriter. He is the self-proclaimed footman in his inner band.
So if you are a fan of Emil, Emily, Beast, and Jack, please come check us out again on, I think Friday night will be live.
So just to be clear, if we're talking about this as in like DID, dissociation is not some like character switch. DID is a dissociative disorder in which a person has two or more distinct identity states. These parts can have different personalities, ages, interests, and on surface level, someone can switch personalities, kind of like what this person's doing.
Switches can be so widely different, even in the same system, even between the same alters. There can be very quick switches, there can be very long dissociated switches. There can be switches where even the alters involved don't realize that it's happened until after it's happened. I do want to say something that I wanted to say at the beginning. Let's maybe keep appearance out of this. Let's not insult someone based on their appearance when talking about you thinking that they are faking DID. Also, let's maybe have sources. Sources would be amazing. Especially when you're quoting things and giving information without backing that up.
But it's funny because actually no, DID is a coping mechanism, not a performance. It's
That's true. From what I've seen so far in this, and I've never seen this person before, I've never seen their system before, I'm not here to fake claim anyone. I'm not going to speculate on whether or not they have DID, because I don't know them. I'm not their therapist. Even if I was their therapist, it would not give me the right to go online and share that medical information. All I'm doing here is going off of what I see and correcting misinformation. You can have your opinions all you want. I do not want to see anyone in the comments or in the chat fake claiming anyone in these videos. That's not what these are for. Apparently there has been a very intelligent person who glanced at our channel, did not watch any videos, looked at maybe half of one title, and is claiming that all of the videos and streams that I do are me fake claiming systems and stating which are valid and not. Anyone who watches even 5 minutes of these videos, or even looks in the comments at the pinned comment, will know that is the opposite of true. If you are going to claim something, you had better do your research so that you do not look like an imbecile. I will not be naming this person yet. We will probably be name dropping this person when it is safe to do so. If you know who it is, you know. But if it has not been clear, I am not here to fake claim anyone. Nobody should be fake claiming anyone. Straight up. You can have your opinions. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm here to look at information presented by people who make videos fake claiming others and correcting the blatant, widespread misinformation that they put out there. Especially channels like this one and like Ablaze, who don't put any sources and who go to insulting appearances and making jokes at people's expense. That is not okay. That is why I do these streams. If you do not agree with me on this, please block us and never speak to us. If you think that you can fake claim anyone you want, block us. We do not want to hear it. And if you try to post a comment fake claiming, just know that on YouTube, all of our comments are filtered. We have every word possible in our blocked word list so that everything goes through a filter. We will not approve any comments that are fake claiming or insulting or perpetuating misinformation. You are free to have your opinion, and I'm not saying that we will not post your comment just because you have an opinion. But if you are going to post a comment, it had better be respectful and not just trolling or fake claiming or full of misinformation. We don't platform that. You will not get that platform from us.
It's not cosplay or theater. DID is not like choosing a Fortnite skin. But then we've got Emil, who switches faster than a YouTuber mid-apology. And then we got people who have DID coming forward and they're like, hey, so switching is actually can be quite exhausting.
Yes, it can be exhausting. But it also can just be like blinking. It depends on the type of switch. It's not always exhausting. Sometimes streaming is more exhausting than switching with us. It completely depends on the alters involved, what's going on internally and externally, if there are any triggers involved. There are so many factors. It's not just, oh, it's always exhausting and that's it.
It can be disorienting, emotionally painful. It's not always super fast, it's not always flashy, and it certainly isn't sparkle content. But then we got Emil, who's switching through personalities like a Chrome tab. But then when it was questioned, the story suddenly changed. Suddenly these weren't alters, they were representations.
Systems are allowed to do skits with their alters. We've done skits. I think we've only done one skit where there wasn't actually a switch. And that was when it was Corvin at the time. So this was a while ago. Corvin, when we still had TikTok, which we are re-uploading our TikToks as shorts, we still need to go through and upload a lot. Corvin had made a skit. Was it Corvin or was it Corey Prefusion? It was one of the two. About an alter that we have in our system named Diablo. Diablo didn't front for that. I think Corey or Corvin, whichever one it was at the time, used some sort of filter to act as Diablo. Diablo did not front for that. It was just a TikTok about their experience with Diablo and how they viewed Diablo. But systems are allowed to do that.
Basically co-opting DID vibes without taking accountability? PR-friendly dissociation? Okay, wait, because having characters to express yourself, that's totally valid. And if Emil had said, hey, so these are just characters, fine. But the thing is, apparently his doctor is calling him a medical mystery. Not a diagnosis, not a...
Do we have proof of this? Are you going to show a video where he states this?
performance. So what is this? And why does it keep getting worse?
My wife tells me people are ran back to her and say different things or show her different messages, and everyone wants to know, did I send them? Yup. Did I send them knowing I'm married? Yup. Did I send them knowing I'd get in trouble? Yup. So actually, if anybody goes back and says anything or in that Discord, I'm not sure what happens in there, But it is what it is. What are you gonna do?
It turns out if you slap a Y at the end of a meal, suddenly boundaries in real life relationships don't matter.
There are a lot of claims, and this is another issue I have with this channel, and with all of these channels. They don't have sources, and they don't provide anything to back up their claims. Nothing was stated. There was no clip of a video shown where the Emil saga or Emil, or I'm just going to say Emil because I don't know if they go by something else. There was nothing showing that they are calling themselves a medical mystery. It's just hearsay at this point. There's no evidence.
I'm here out in Carbondale, the two fans of mine. We are doing fantastic. It's Emily. Peace.
This is definitely giving harmless meet and greet, and certainly not please turn on your location services. But let's take a moment to appreciate someone who really didn't sign up for this. His partner, Kayla.
No, I'm not. First of all, it's Emily. You know how wild I am. Second of all, I can talk to whoever I want on the live. I'm talking to people on the lives and all my fans. Yeah, well, that's Emily, Kayla. Yeah, so what? They don't, Kayla. So just deal with it. I'm Emily. It's different. You know that.
Okay, that is not okay. That is not okay. I don't have words for how not okay that is. Just because it's an altar of yours, and you don't have control over that altar, does not mean that you are free from accountability. System accountability is so important. It's not fair, but it is what it has to be, because we have to share a body and a life. What one altar does, says, whatever, every other altar in that system needs to take accountability for it, even if they don't remember it. There needs to be accountability. It doesn't matter if it wasn't you. It doesn't matter if you would never do that. And no, it's not fair. But it is how it is. Accountability has to be taken.
So, what do you want me to say? Alright, well, I gotta go. I'm on my live. This is what I do now, Kayla. The fans have requested literally that Emily, Animal Beast, and Jack are on here all the time, and that they will take care of us, and this is what our life is meant to be, and you know this. So I'm telling you right now, Kayla, I talk to fans as Emily how I want. You know how I am as Emily. Okay? Excuse me, that's just me, and you know that.
Mwah, chef's kiss. We are witnessing a man emotionally cheat on his wife in 4K and blaming it on a woman inside his head.
There are so many issues with that wording, I don't even know where to start. Let's not fake claim people. First of all, if in that clip they want to be called Emily, call them Emily. Don't misgender them or call them by the wrong name when it's clear that they have stated who they are. I'm not going to speak on the partner situation other than just system accountability.
Or I'm sorry, I'm not talking about how old Emily claims to be in this video because it is certainly not good. But I mean, who among us has not tried the old, oh, I'm sorry.
You can't say that and then not say how old Emily says she is. Because that's just going to open it up for more speculation that's not helping anything.
Sorry, it was my flirty alter ego.
If you've done that, that is not okay. System or not, that is not okay.
Excuse. This man looked his marriage dead in the eye and he was like, sorry babe, the chat asked for Emily. And if you think this is a one-off thing, no, he is repeatedly flirting with fans on live. I mean, it's the same energy for me as someone who's trying to...
We're going to speak on this as someone who has not dated since our last relationship in 2021, which we've spoken about many, many times, and will continue to speak about it. If you are a system dating someone, boundaries need to be discussed and respected.
To get kicked out of a Waffle House at 2 a.m. and succeeding, but the defense is always the same because it wasn't me, it was Emily. But it doesn't stop there because he also allegedly sent worn underwear and socks to fans. Romance is not dead. It is just deeply confused. Once told viewers that his meetup would be a, and this is a direct quote, giant...
Yeah, I cannot wait to talk to you and see you in person. And Jordy, oh my God. Emel's gonna throw Jordy up in the air. It's gonna be, when I hug my fans and stuff, it's gonna be amazing because we get deep. We all love each other. And yeah, it's gonna be one giant... No, it's not.
So the vibes on here are kind of like Reddit nice guy meets TikTok therapist with a god complex meets performance art. But hey, it was my other personality, so therefore I'm going to dodge responsibility. And the worst part is people were buying into it. But let's talk about one of the most suspicious parts of this saga, the Switches. Not like a Nintendo Switch.
This song was originally by Hanson. We did our own version. This song is called MMMBop, and I hope you guys love it. And so, yeah, in a bop, be gone. Baba doo, bop doo, bop, baba doo, bop doo. Oh yeah, oh no. Thank you guys. Love you guys. Follow this account.
Okay, pause. Where's Emily? Where's the Beast? Where's Jack? Moodily like sketching in the corner. For a guy with 4 different personalities, his solo seems like oddly consistent.
Masking exists. Sure, the text that was there had all of their names, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're all there. Co-fronting exists. And I'm going to be very honest. There was a tonal change in that video. I'm not saying anything for sure. I'm just saying what I observed.
But But then when he's on live, he switches through identities like it's a talent show bit for views on command. And now even alleged therapists have been calling him out. And this is...
Anyone who is a medical professional who is speculating on the mental health of someone who is not their patient needs to have their license revoked. I'm so serious about that, because that is absolutely atrocious behavior that is not acceptable. If we found out that our therapist was doing that, we would drop her immediately. So if these are real therapists speculating on people's mental health when they do not treat that person, they need to have their license revoked and they need to be looked into immediately.
What one had to say on Reddit. I have so many thoughts. I am a qualified mental health professional, and any QMHP would take 2 seconds to figure out that this person is in a drug-induced delusion. I cannot tell...
Of course they are not using their other account, because they know that if anyone looked into it, they would have their license revoked. Trying to speculate like this is absolutely disgusting behavior. I don't care what you think of this person. I could state so many opinions I have on this person just from what the alleged things have been, and it's not positive. That does not mean that it is okay to speculate like this, especially when you are claiming to be a qualified mental health professional. If they are not your client, you have no right. And this is the issue I have with videos like this, because the people who make these are not qualified. I'm not saying that we're qualified, but I'm also not fake claiming anyone. And I'm also putting in disclaimers and sources and telling people to do their own research. So no, I am not a professional. But I'm being a lot more responsible than all of these people combined. Usually, I would not have such a major ego about it. But things like this really piss me off. For my own sanity, I'm going to skip that section.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, TikTok. I'm here with my father. This is me taking my dad out for his birthday. And this is only the second time he's been at the Olive Garden in his life, right?
Yep.
Alright, I love you, Dad. We love you guys. We'll see you soon.
Okay, so if we're assuming that he has some kind of dissociative disorder adjacent, it just kind of shuts down when Dad is present. People...
Masking Masking exists. Also, people with DID don't need to constantly dissociate or visibly dissociate. More often than not, DID is a covert disorder. I've said this before, and I will continue saying this. We present very overt online because we feel safe doing so. Offline, we are very covert. That TikTok was only maybe 15 seconds long, 30 at the most. It's not an absurd thing for someone with DID to be able to make a 15-second TikTok without showing any visible signs of dissociation. But if this person was showing visible signs of dissociation, I am almost positive that people would have an issue with that too.
People were commenting too. Rebecca was like, this is the first time you didn't say, hey, this is Emil, Emily, Beast, and Jack. This was actually a really nice video.
Maybe because it is only the host. Maybe because the focus was not on the system. Maybe because the video was just
Emil responded, and yeah, only cause Mai was right there and asked I don't roar or be Emily for once, haha. Honestly, same, it gets shy, it clocks out for family dinner. Because nothing exactly says mental health crisis like, hey guys, so the Beast took a PTO and...
Some alters are going to be more comfortable around certain people than others. You can compromise with your alters and ask them, hey, do you think you can tone it down? I'm not saying that this is what has happened in this situation. I'm just saying you cannot make blanket statements and ignore all the nuance.
Till Dad leaves Olive Garden. Okay, wait. In DID, alters do show up more or less around certain people. But I guess in this case it's just like, oh, okay, that's very convenient that these switches stop showing up the second Dad shows up.
It is a 15-second video. It didn't show the entire dinner. It only showed 15 seconds. We don't know if there were switches during that. All we saw was 15 seconds. unless this person running this channel is claiming to have been there. She needs to stop. Because we have no idea what happened beyond those 15 seconds.
So remember when Emil was allegedly emotionally cheating on his wife when his alter ego Emily would flirt on live? One of his
Alters and alter egos are completely different things. They are not interchangeable.
top moderators, Jordy, actually helped control this chaos and stayed up all night where he would flirt, roar, and plan slumber parties. We'll get to that part later. This is one person in which he exchanged worn socks and underwear with. But I mean, we've all got our hobbies, right? Jordy said her husband was totally cool with it. It's your modern love triangle. I mean, we got a wife, a husband, and a guy with 4 different personalities. And when people started raising concerns, she was like, hey, just so you know, I'm not cheating. Y'all are bullies. Look, if you're into this,
I'm not going to say anything about that beyond just I think she knows her own relationship better than people online. You don't know what they have going on in that relationship. And I'm not going to speculate. But don't make assumptions either. There's not really anything else I can see in this. That I feel the need to go over. I don't really care about the sister-in-law expose or a slumber party. Honestly, I could not care less. The purpose of these streams is not to share my own personal opinions on people. It is to try to prevent more misinformation being spread. Because the people who make videos like this spread a lot of misinformation. At the very least, they need to have sources. I would not be so unflexible if they actually provided sources. But because they have no sources, I'm going to be more critical. I'm going to be less lenient. Because at least if you have sources, I know that you have looked at things, and I can take a look at them and see for myself where you are getting this information. If you don't provide any sources, I cannot do that. don't really feel like going through another video. We have things we need to get done. Again, do not harass, attack, insult anyone mentioned in these videos. Yes, that goes for the channels here too. Yes, they are spreading misinformation, and that needs to stop. But harassing them is not going to change that. Do your own research. Hydrate. Take your medication. Eat something. It is better to eat a chocolate bar rather than nothing at all. I don't know when I'll be streaming next. I need to bring these streams back. Because it seems every time I look at the playlist, there are just more videos added. Which in a way it is amusing, but it is also concerning how many there are on this website. And this is not me telling Echo or Michaela or whoever is fronting who adds these videos to this playlist to stop adding videos to the playlist. But I think that's all I have. So take care of yourselves. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.